right.
Yeah.
All right. The mic.
Here.
Are we back? We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
I am dizzy right now.
Why?
Why? Because you all know Amy.
Yeah.
But what you don't know about Amy is that Amy is the style queen of drift.
That's fact.
And she said,
That's fact.
I forgot what were the words. My
You
bracelet.
forgot.
My
You forgot.
bracelet
She said
game.
your bracelet game was on fire. Your bracelet game is on point lately.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Damn.
That's pretty good.
Style points from Amy.
That's pretty good.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. So I got
I'm
a couple.
psyched.
I got so many
Let's do
topics.
this.
I got so many topics.
Michelle is here also.
You hit me on every channel this week. Let's talk about. We're going to talk about the danger of role models.
Woo! All right.
So
let's go.
You know, you loyal Seeking Wisdom listeners out there, you know that we talk about role models a lot,
Mm-hmm,
the importance of role models. But we're going to talk about today. There's a flip side of role models.
Danger.
Do you know?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The danger. So I've been sending DG messages on all communication channels.
Name it. He wrote me a letter
Yeah.
over the weekend. It landed in my apartment.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Emails, videos, this, messaging, chat, text, emails, everything.
Yes.
So I sent them one on, we have to do Seeking Wisdom on the danger of role models.
I think this was a PSA to me. This was a PSA.
This was.
Yeah. Come on.
All right.
This
I'm
is
going to come at him.
I'm going to come. This is what this podcast is for.
All right. I didn't want to call you out
This
directly.
is what this podcast
But I was trying to, this was a PSA, public service announcement for my man DG here. Because I'm trying to keep him humble, in check, and focused.
You do a good job at all those things. You do a very good job.
But I had to take it up.
Okay.
I had to take it up a notch. All right. So we talk about the power of role models all the time and how powerful it is to learn from role models and to model yourself. Because that's something that happens with us is that if we're around the right people, we tend to model ourselves in that direction. So if you're around a bunch of people who, let's say a bunch of friends who are really healthy eaters, right? And so they're great at eating, they're great at exercise, and you spend all your time around those people, you will probably average yourself to them.
You have no choice but to do it.
No choice. Even if you're not thinking about it, and you'll probably get healthier and you'll eat better because you're around those.
Here's a good example. Young DG never read a book in his life.
Never.
Came to Drift. He reads books.
Lots of books.
What do you know?
He's posting about books. So it's about that. So we talk about, wow, that can be used for good, but it can also be used for bad. And the difference is if you're not intentional about it.
Yes.
And so the PSA that I sent to DG here was, here's what you want to do. When you're trying to achieve something, whether that's in health, wealth, personal, emotional, spiritual, like those are perfect places where you can choose a role model and try to model yourself in that direction. But, and this is the DG, what can also happen is if you're not intentional about your role models, they can lead you to a bad place. And so an example would be if you live in a certain neighborhood.
Rhymes with Schmalzmand.
Yeah. Fancy neighborhood. If you're young, married with a baby and you live in a fancy neighborhood and you spend your time around a lot of fancy people, you're probably going to average yourself and compare yourself to them, and so you'll be spending a lot of money. You'll be living a lifestyle that is proportionate to theirs, right? It's comparable to theirs. And that is exactly what you don't want to do on the personal side of things. So, my virtual mentors are people like Sam Walton. They're all old men.
You said you need to have role models in business, but in your personal life, you have personally chosen. I'm from Worcester. Sorry, you have chosen not to live with those people.
Yeah.
That's
so I don't live
your thing.
with my, and I haven't for years. The places I live are not with what. Some might consider my peer groups or my role models or mentors. I don't live in their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I live in different neighborhoods that are around more normal and grounded and people that I want to be around, and I do that on purpose because else you'll kind of ratchet up. And so my virtual mentors are people like Sam Walton, Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, etc. And what's common with all those people? One, they're cheap. So am I. Two, they don't live extravagantly in their life. Also, another virtual mentor of mine is Dave Ramsey. Read the Total Money Makeover. I'm going to get a copy for DG and for his wife, so they read it. Mm-hmm. I had given that book to Elias, many years ago.
That's what turned him into this monster?
Yeah. No.
He's not really.
He was a bigger monster before. But anyway, sent them that book, and the whole thing was like live below your means and get around people like that. And then when you're trying to achieve, you want to get around people that are ahead.
Remember the thing that you talked about, which is mentally people... you default to be at like 130% or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you live in this fancy neighborhood called the South End. Let's just make that up. Hypothetical, right? And then you're going to average to the people around there.
Yes.
A lot of fancy people, a lot of spending. Your spending and your fanciness will go up.
Yep.
And then even when you do that, even though you're living this great life, you may feel like, wow, I need more. I need more because you will always naturally ratchet up, right? That is the thing that keeps us focused on progression, right? That's built into all of us. That's why we progress. That's why we keep seeking, right? Is we have this natural tendency to want to ratchet things up, whether it's 130% or whatever the number is. And so you constantly feel like you're just chasing yourself to get to that level. So instead, gave my friend a warning to stay frugal, stay lean, and have reverse role model or have different role models there than you do on the professional side.
Yes, there's a great scene. There's a documentary about Warren Buffett on HBO, and the beginning scene is
when he goes to McDonald's?
He's going to McDonald's, and every morning his wife puts like $2.26 in the cup holder of his car, and he goes and gets like 2 Egg McMuffins on his way to work. Yeah, I drink $8 juices.
He drinks $8 juices in the morning for him, his wife, in the afternoon, and at night, and weekends. It's out of control.
It's out of control.
So you want to ratchet down,
it's getting out of
right?
control.
Because, and this is the thing that Dave Ramsey always says, and I love Dave Ramsey, is like, you want to be weird, right? When it comes to personal finances in your personal life. He said, because normal is broke, stressed out, and that is normal in America.
Yeah, that's most people, right?
Yeah, that's everyone. Whether they live in the South End, just choosing that as a weird example. It could be anything.
It's close. It's just because it's nearby. It's right here.
Yeah, Back Bay or whatever. But that's a thing when you, in your personal life, remember that there's a danger. If you not intentional with your role models, you will naturally average yourself to them, and that might lead you in a bad direction. Just like if you surrounded yourself with people that, and you weren't intentional, who smoked all the time, drank all the time, or did whatever.
Or like
all the time.
It's the same thing that we talked about when we did the original episode on role models, which is you're the product of the people that you surround yourself with. And you talked about when you were younger at the time, you didn't know what else because of who was around you. You didn't know what else was possible, right? So you didn't know that any of that stuff was possible. So it's the same thing, right? If your role models are only the rich people living in the South End, you think that is the norm.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about being intentional. And so for most of us, this is the part of our lives where we're not intentional. And so things will happen because of that we don't know that are happening.
Yes.
So that's my warning to young people who live in the South End. And
that is
who have babies.
Yeah, so if you're out there,
have red hair.
If you're listening out there and you have a baby with red hair, careful. Watch yourself.
Yeah. All right. So remember, role models could go in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And as you're thinking about role models and mentors and using them, being intentional or not, let's be intentional and leave a 6-star review on Apple Podcasts. Shout out Michelle.
You got very good at the CTS.
And shout out Amy in the reviews, because we need more reviews, because I'm trying to get Dave to commit to 5,000 people coming to Hypergrowth next year.
You know what? Drop me a lesson. Tell me about frugality in the reviews. Tell me what I should be cutting out. You follow me on Instagram.
Juices don't count, because we gave you that one.
They gave you that one. Also, they're very good for you, so that doesn't count.
Yeah,
but, other things.
They're super healthy. Look at it, they're rationalizing. All right, so leave that in the review. Give Dave a hard time in the reviews. Please, he needs it. We need to make him harder, stronger, faster.
Every day.
Let's go.
Right, we're out of here.
All right, see ya.
See ya.